Okay, so if we want to simplify the following square roots, we are now looking at a mixture of numbers and variables. So things kind of amped up just a little bit, but the same idea applies. Just like if we had the square root of 3 squared, that would be equal to plus or minus 3. The square root of x squared is equal to plus or minus x. The square root and the squared just act against each other. Now, same idea. Let's look at the square root of 4x squared. 4, if we look back at our common squares, is the same thing as 2 squared. So we can substitute it in by saying that this is equal to the square root of 2 squared times x squared. And if we split this up into 2 separate multiplications, then the square root of 2 squared is equal to 2, and the square root of x squared is equal to x, and we have that plus or minus out to the side. And then the same idea with this square root of 25x. If we take a look back at our common squares, we see that 5 squared is the same thing as 25, so we can do a little substituting. 5 squared times x is equal to 25x. And when we break up this multiplication, we have 5 squared times the square root of x. And the square root of 5 squared is equal to 5. And the square root of x can't be taken any further because we don't have it squared. In order to take the square root of something, the number inside has to also be squared. So we have 5 times the square root of x. And it's plus or minus because we're dealing with square roots.